Alright, Chapter 4, Section 4, Pumping Operations. General. This section details the various types of the pump of the kind with the military fuel installation. 412. The central figure pump. Due to the simplicity of the availability of the wide variety of operation conditions, central figure pump is widely used. They modify the operate without over a wide range of heads of the hand liquids of the normal temperature for the operate with the speed with the same for the motor with the turbine with the characteristics of these pumps with the model of such the flow of them, the continue for the discharge of the throttle of the building of the excessive pressure for the pump for the overloading of the driving unit. Central fecal pump with the flat and not flexible, the versatile, with the reciprocating unit, usually with the most economical, satisfactory type of the install. The operating conditions vary with the appreciably that they may not be connected with any type of the drive of the central fecal pump. That usually self-priming with the liquid does not flow with the pumping, and the provision that must be made by priming. Self-priming pumps can be obtained in smaller size of the automatic priming. The equipment is available to any size pump of the operation. Central fecal pump is very sensitive to such conditions. Abnormally high suction lifts and actual caused by friction with the suction line with the exit usually result in a serious reduction capacity with the efficiency of the pump, frequently leading to the trouble of vibration cavitation. Figure 3. See Figure 3 section showing the impeller volatile in central figure pump. 413. Reciprocating pumps. For general surface conditions, especially with the equipment necessary to maintain the fixed capacity against the variable head of the reciprocating pump, the frequently specified by all the cases with the viscosity of the liquids vary with the reasonably wide limits possible to vary with the pump capacity with adjusting of the speed of the reciprocating pump with the positive of the displacement, the type of the self-priming, the discharge of the pulsating may be smoothed out, considerable use with a suitable air chamber on the discharge side. Power-driven reciprocating pump with a high efficiency delivery with practically with a constant rate against the wide variety of the head of the executing acting steam with a driven piston with the type of the pump that is equipped with a suitable control also have the advantage of the lesser degree. Reciprocating pump will deliver excessive pressure if the delivered obstruction of the relief valve is if necessary the discharge of the pump. 414. Rotary pumps. All types of the rotary pumps have a certain characteristic with the permanent with the handling of the high viscosity of the oil of the condition with the reciprocating central fecal pumps that are not suited for the rotary type of the combined with the constant flow character for the central fecal pump with the positive discharge feature with the reciprocating type of the self-priming on the most type of the constant discharge of flow regardless of their close pressure clearance if the wind permits will have them to have the full high vacuum relief valve that are required to discharge piping. See figure 4 and 5. 415. Primary movers. General the pump is used for the purpose of the moving of the petroleum product while driving the constant speed with electrical motors, diesel engine, gasoline engine, the turbine engine, and the steam turbine driven, and the higher the speed with the steam actuated piston, steam turbine drive with the rotary motion of the drive of the wood converted through the means of the suitable gear drive to reduce the number of the revolutions per minute of the crankshaft. Slow speed primary movers such as the diesel engine that also compared with the electrical motor of the steam turbine may be used to drive central figures with the geared speed increase of the electrical motor turbine and diesel engine drive pumps will predominate. Alright, 416. Hazard shutting down when the static head exceeds the allowable ship pressure. Unloading a tank ship obviously with the shutdown of the booster pump with either mistake with the duty of the pop power failure will stop the flow and call the fuel delivery head with the ship pump at the back up at the pier. There may be surge pressure from the addition with the may conveniency burst in the hose, and for this reason, every precaution should be taken to avoid it. 417. Operational variable speed pump. The sum of the installation central figure and gear pump that driven with the variable speed electrical motors through the appropriate reduction gears and the steam turbine directing and acting with steam pumps. Various speed of the slip ring motor of the electrical driven pump with the control down on half speed less than the electrical controller beyond the bypassing that usually necessary for the pumps are positive the displacement type. The figure 4 shows the internal gear type rotary pump. This shows external gear rotary pump. And the pumping rate of the steam turbine with the drivers with the control varying the supply with the steam and high with the turbines with the constant speed with the governor can be controlled with it same with the motor driven pump. The pumping rate of the direct acting pump is always varied with the through steam and then starting and controlling the diesel acting various speed with the pump delivered with directly with the tankage if they not operate with a series. Other pumps are no special problem when the lines that have been opened. The pump may be started by opening the steam valve. 418. Pumping service. In order to get the best performance of the operation of the equipment and minimize the repair, operators must become familiar with the operation and instructions furnished with the manufacturer as well as the general instruction, including the military handbooks, operation and maintenance instruction. 419. Your safety rules and precautions pertaining to the pumping and the pumping house operations. Operators trained with a familiar with the pumping house operation shall be instructed to notify the maintenance within immediately with the notifying notice significant change of the operating character of the major pumping equipment. The safety precautions applicable to the military manual appendix B. The operating with the instructions specific installations will be followed. Section 5: Tank, truck, and tanker car operations. Section cover the operation for the tank, truck, and tanker car loading and unloading, which will be performed in most military installations. It is intended to provide the description of the general type of the facility with a suggestion of the basic guide for the safe, accurate, and efficient procedure for the tank car and tank truck operation. The truck loading and the standing of the tank truck car rack standing will usually be equipped with both loading and unloading tank car and tank truck equipment. Of the tank truck and the rail car tank cars are used transporting bulk petroleum products between between points. Now serve the pipeline with a water transportation facility with the tank trucks that have an advantage over the tank cars, and they can be delivered directly to the ultimate consumer of the equipment. Tank trucks, depending on the type of the fuel that's transferred, may be equipped with the pump with the delivering with the product. With the other tank of the equipment is predominantly there with the aircraft. The refuelers may include with the emergency vent valves, filters, separators, strain with eliminators, meters, and houses equipped with the screeners, electrical bonding, wire and clippers, sampling with the cock and fire extinguisher system. Since the tanker cars do not deliver the ultimately consuming equipment, they are equipped only with a venting device, bottom outlet discharge, and a dome opening with the filing. The preloading inspection. Tanker cars and tanker trucks are previously stated with examine them prior to loading to make sure that they are suitable for the transportation product with loaded. The equipment must be safe for the roadworthy and free of leaks. In addition, the dome cover the tank truck must be adequately equipped for sealing. Liquids remaining with the previously hauled should be sampled with identification performed with the liquids remaining with the tanker cover the tanker truck from the previous shipment, of which are not in the same with the product to be loaded will be drained prior to the loading. When the concern for the necessary for the tank car or the tanker truck must be flushed with a small amount of the product next to be loaded with remove the last traces of the lineage, as well with the rust and scale for the outside outlet with the sub pump with the tank car for the outlet line with the tank truck with the emphasize with the bonding with the connection between the trunk failed with the most being made with the hose connection. These bonds shall not be removed until the hose has been disconnected with the driver of the tank truck or the other personnel should not be in the cab during the filling operation. Cleaning compartments. The compartments should be cleaned in accordance with the departmental directives. Loading. Bottom loading is preferred with the method of the filling of the tanker cars and tank trucks whenever the possible there should be used. Bottom loading is excellent safety precaution with the connection of volatile fuels and preventing vapor loss for the reduced static electrical regeneration protect fuel against contamination from the outside. Sources. Care must be exercised to provide the product and shut off notification all installation without the bottom loading with the capability when the instrument drive with the loading arm with the provide with the rack of the man with the driver that shall be instructed regarding with the proper use. It must be made clear of the purpose of the define with the drop tube with the non-extend with the bottom of the compartment with the drop tube with the mount with the perpendicular with the nearly perpendicular position in order to the effect with the necessary for the truck with it should be moved with accomplished with the drop of the tube that should never be used in a horizontal position merely with the purpose of reaching a compartment that normally out of the reach of either the type of the loading with the light product to be filled within the tank of the truck with it should be processed with a filter separator. Inspection after loading. Each of the carrier will be checked with a complete loading with an end that is shell with a full. In the case of the tank with the car is calibrated with the mark with the case of the tank with the trucks and the tank of trailers. Individual deliveries other than Navy Special with the residual fuel success with 3,500 gallons. Individual delivery to Navy Special with the residual fuel regardless of the quantity should be correct with the standard temperature of 60 degrees Fahrenheit in accordance with the appropriate tables. Smaller, differently minor with the recurring nature of the determined with the meter without the temperature correction and representation. Sample will be able to take with each of the load tank with a tanker car and tank truck with the examiner to determine the temperature of the presence of the rust water and other visible with the contamination prior to the result release of the shipment. If the laboratory facility is available, the loading of the point with the contamination with the intermixing suspected, a sample will be sent with the laboratory for the delegation testing. Ensure for the product with an additional sample will be retained with a period designated with the assigned inspector, which where deliveries are other than with the confined with the activity loaded with each of the tank of the commercial tank truck government field servicing unit with the load will be sealed with the loading point with this manner with excess with the convenient again with the concept of the contents removed with the breaking of the seal, improved identification with the seal with which cannot be removed after the application to actually destroy, and the seal will be used. The marking on the seals will indicate all the shipping documents. The seals may be loaded with the carrying, transporting other types of petroleum product with the use of products of the discretion of the other ordering officer. All right. Quantity and quality check report. Quality and quality check before unloading incoming the tanker car with the tanker truck. That they will have the seal intact with the identification seal with the number that will be recorded at the Department of Defense Form 250. Other shipping documents forwarded to the supplier with the time of the ship. The shipping with the document list of the specification of the grade number of the product with the quantity of the ship, the identification for the container, serial numbers applied with the seal will be checked with the bill of information from the Department of Defense Form 250. The content of the tanker car and tanker trucks will be supplied prior to the welding unloading of the sample of the obtained visually and experiments appearance of the color of the test of gravity when so directed to ensure of the proper grade with the freedom of the contamination sample will be taken from each of the carrier prior to loading and prior to the unloading of the store and into storage and visually examine it if necessary further to check to ensure the content of the same and the list of the accompanying of the shipping document that any short of the quantity noted with the receipt any of the petroleum product on the tanker cars with the tanker with the trucks will be made with the material matter of the record. Unloading precautions when unloading directions into the plane with the vehicle with the equipment with the primary point of the exertion before the beginning of the operation approximately volume to be discharged during the operation. Care must be taken to prevent spillage of overflow with it upon the occurrence of the spill and overflow that the low flash point low flash petroleum products can become hazardous if they happen to prompt action stop the flow with the cleanup of the necessary see with that chapter 7 and with the safety precautions. Aircraft fuels discharged into the aircraft will be processed through a filter separator clean with the product will be dispensed for the other equipment when possible should be processed with a filter separator. Section 6 of tanker operations. Cut the tape there.